How can we make the world better? By making ourselves better. The Dr. Joe Show explores how you can make positive personal change by using his groundbreaking and highly effective I Am approach to understand who we are and why we do what we do. Your small changes can have big effects.
Join us now for the Dr. Joe Show with Mark Stiles of Stiles Law and your host, Dr. Joe Schrand.
And welcome to the Dr. Joe Show. I am your host, Dr. Joe Schrand, and I just want to give a quick shout out to my previous co-host, Mark Stiles. We really miss him, but you'll be hearing more about him as we go along. But for now, folks, you are just stuck with me and whoever our guest is. And we have an amazing guest, so we're going to get right into it. I'm going to just read this remarkable bio. Folks, are you ready for this? Karen Thrall is an executive coach and culture strategist with more than 20 years of executive leadership experience across multiple industries, ranging from biotech to consumer goods. As a former vice president of sales operations and culture, she delivered double-digit annual revenue growth while building high-performing, value-based teams. Through her firm, Karen Thrall Inc., she has coached more than 150 executives and partnered with over 60 organizations, including Fortune 500 companies. Many clients stay with her for years, drawn to the trust she builds and the results she delivers. What began as a workshop in 2004 evolved into her debut book, and she sees writing as a natural extension of her coaching and a way to continue championing the professional community she cares for. And by the way, the book is Don't Lose Your Beat at Work, Stay Calm, Be Heard.
With co-author.
With
co-author, Dr. Joseph Schrand.
Welcome to the Dr. Joe Show, Karen Thrall. It's so wonderful to have you here. Oh, thank you. Yay, hooray. So, how things going out there? I've got to tell you, we're here on the East Coast. It has been really cold. We've got a lot of snow, but we're still warm in our hearts.
Yeah.
So what's going on out there?
Well, I'm actually in Playa del Carmen, so I'm pretty fortunate to be in the opposite of cold.
Yeah.
That's been great. It's so cool here because the Mayan ruins, they make gardens out of them. So they're everywhere in this certain area, and you can walk by them. You can, nobody does, but you could climb them and everything like that. They're not barricaded off. And so you're on this really rich, deep, ancient history.
Right.
It's just, and it just reminds you just to slow down.
Yeah, and you were talking about that offline a little bit. So let's hear the slow down strategy. Because Karen Thrall, thinking about your bio, it doesn't sound like that was part of your life before, was the slowing down thing, you know?
No.
Coaching, 150 executives.
And it's a theme right now. It's in the air. Because when I talk to the leaders I work with, they're feeling it too. So it's in the air. And the big word that you're hearing a lot lately is grind. People that the grind of work, people are rethinking that. And because it's a belief system. We start believing that we're supposed to grind, and you think, where did that come from? And why is that the right way? Like, why am I stuck on this one option when life is never about one way of doing things? So it's like that. So my theme for 2026 is to just rethink this whole grind thing and slow it down. And my natural me lives in the moment, carefree, just wings it. Like that is the natural me. Like when Corey and I go on trips, I'm like, whatever. Like I just really enjoy not having a plan, but my work side is definitely not that.
I mean, just the whole concept of grind. You're absolutely right.
I know.
How did we get into that, do you think? Grind.
I don't know.
So
you know what's weird is in the 90s when the computer came out, the whole message was, we'll have more time.
Yeah.
And then the phones came out and it's like, we'll have more time.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, this whole thing on time is I'm been practicing time is precious, because in my line of work, nobody teaches me. This is just my own belief system that I've created and programmed, whatever. It is my own responsibility to figure this out. But time is money is a really common phrase in business.
Yeah.
Time is currency. And I've said that. And now I'm going, time is precious. Time is precious. So, and what I'm trusting more and more, and this is common, like that, not the only one in my little, maybe it's because, the law of attraction, where you start people, they all start popping up everywhere. But what I was saying to you before we started was when you choose a path, trust it. Like, this is the road I'm on. Yes, there'll be a couple of detours here and there. That just means it's just a detour, but you're on the road, and just stay the road. So I was saying earlier, I really want to adopt the philosophy of what do you call it? The tortoise and the hare, the fable, tortoise and the hare, and the tortoise wins. The tortoise wins. Wait a second. The tortoise was stopping and smelling the flowers, and the tortoise won. I want that. And so that's what I want. If I'm on the path. So I then had a memory about you and I talking several years ago when we first were getting to know each other. We were just starting the editing. And I was actually on a highway. I pulled over because I was losing connection. And you didn't know that, because I didn't want to, but I pulled over, and somehow I'm on this open highway that has bad connection. So I pulled over, and you said something, and I wish I could remember the context, but you were talking about when a car lands in the ditch. Let's say there's a rock in the road. Do you remember this?
I do remember.
Okay, you finish it then. I want you to finish it. So tell me what you said, because I had that memory. So it's your metaphor.
It had to do with depression and mental health and mental challenges, where sometimes, you're driving along in your car and you see something in the road and you swerve to get out of the way and you wind up in a ditch. And there's not a scratch on your car. You put it in first gear, you can't move forward. You put it in reverse, you can't move back. Your wheels are spinning and spinning. You can't move anywhere. You're stuck in that ditch. So what do? You get out of the car, you call a tow truck. The tow truck comes, picks up your car that doesn't have a scratch on it, puts you back on the road, and off you go again. And the idea is that ditch is depression. And the tow truck is whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. And then at some point when you're back on the road, you look in your rearview mirror and you say, what was that I need to get out of the way from? What was that I needed to swerve away from and wound up in a ditch? So the next time you see something in the road, you can anticipate it, you'll know what to do, and you don't need to get stuck in the ditch. So somehow that memory came back to you recently?
Yes. And also about when you look in the rearview mirror, it's behind you.
Right.
The road is still there. The road is still, you still move forward. And that thing that scared you or caused you to react and then you needed help to get out is behind you. And the road, you're still on the road and you just keep going. So
and looking back in the mirror, that's therapy. You see, that's the therapy where you reflect what happened back then that I was so disoriented, so worried, whatever the emotion was, that you needed to swerve out of your pathway.
Yeah.
And you get stuck. So you're right. Look, a detour, as you say, the words are still, it's a detour, right? It's just another part of detour, right? It's not like you're getting lost. And sometimes we take an exit because we need to use the bathroom, You need to get a meal, or you need to say, that sounds like a really interesting town. I want to go check that out. Part of detour.
Because even Corey and I, whenever we get lost, he'll go, "Oh, it just means we get to hang out in the car longer." That's his line. That's his line every time. "Oh, we just get to hang out in the car longer."
Yeah, right. But you are on this pathway.
Yeah.
But what's it is, you were on this pathway before. I mean, a different one, and it was. Yeah. I mean, maybe you were traveling in the high-speed lane the whole time, and sometimes you don't get a chance to recognize that there's actually an exit.
Yeah. It's interesting on that. My preference, I walk tons. And I like riding my bike at night or when it's dark. I really enjoy riding my bike. It's interesting that my mode of transportation by preference is walking and riding a bicycle. Like even that, the natural me is saying, hey, it still gets you there. It takes a little longer, but you sure do love it. You sure do love a slower pace on the highway. And and then you look around and you observe. And I also love being the passenger. I prefer being the passenger than the driver because I can look at everything. And so the whole metaphor of when you make a decision and you're on the road, that's a good decision. So just keep walking on the road, riding your bike, whatever. And but I want to go back to your detour thing because you said something that tweaked I'm changing the subject here.
Oh, that's fine. We're taking a little exit. It's a little detour.
I don't know why I've never asked you this before, but you were talking about how it's depression. How do you explain suppression, repression, depression, oppression? What's a good layman's term? And the reason I'll tell you why. Sometimes we use generalized terms like a blanket statement. So when I'm coaching, if a person says I'm depressed, when I'm not a psychiatrist, I can't go there. But what I try to do is find what is it? Maybe it's not depression. Like what other words might it be? Because we can label ourselves with these very heavy words, like to label yourself depressed when you might not be. You might be anxious, or you might be scared, or you might be disappointed. But it's easy for us to label ourselves. But I would love, how do you explain? Is this okay? Okay.
Sure.
How do you in a layman's term explain depression, oppression, suppression, repression? Like, what's a good barometer for us?
Well, it's on a scale, right? Of different feelings. So we are biologically driven animals. We're mammals with a limbic system, prefrontal cortex, a feeling part and a thinking part, but we are still based very much in our fight, flight, freeze response, right? Fight is anger. And if you think about how many different words we have just for anger, they represent a scale from a little bit irritated to postal rage. And this was the theme of, of outsmarting anger. It's the same for the fear branch. So the fight is anger, flight is fear. That's anxiety, worry, and hesitation, concern. I mean, different measures, if you will, again, on that scale of anxiety, with panic being the far, far, far part of that scale. And it's the same thing with freeze. So for freeze is when you're faced with a predator that you can't beat. So you can't fight it. You can't flee. You can't get away from it. And so you freeze and you shut down and you hope the danger passes. And I think in humans, that's depression. But there are degrees of that. There's sadness. There's disappointment. But one of the things that is the most important part about not disappointing people is being able to take a commercial break and hear from our sponsors so they are not disappointed by the Dr. Joe Show. So with that, we'll take a commercial break so we don't disappoint anyone, so I don't have to go into a freeze mode and nobody has to fight me. We'll be right back with the Dr. Joe Show and our guest, Karen Thrall. And we are back with the Dr. Joe Show. And here I am, Dr. Joe, bringing us back in with Karen Thrall, our executive coach and culture strategist, more than 20 years of executive leadership, who has now chosen to slow down.
Slow down. Right? Slow down. You move too fast.
You move too fast. You got to make one less. And we were talking about time before.
Yeah.
One of my friends reminds me that it's called the present for a reason. It is a gift.
Yes.
It is the present. And being present means that you are connecting with the world around you and your internal world as well.
Yeah.
So, we were talking about that ditch of depression, that is when you feel so stuck that you don't think you can move. And I have worked with
Okay.
many, many people who just feel so stuck. And that's their I am, right? The I am approach. Yeah, we're doing the best we can. What's going on in those 4 domains that the best you can do right now is be stuck in that ditch? Sometimes it really is biology. I mean, the biological
You're
domain,
right.
we have certain
Yeah.
neurohormones. We have
Yeah.
evolved certain brain chemicals that help us feel good.
Yeah.
And when we have less of those, while that's an I am, that can make the whole world seem hopeless, helpless. How do we diagnose depression? We ask a few questions. Besides whether you're suicidal, you know,
Mm-hmm.
do you feel hopeless? Do you
Mm.
feel helpless? Do you feel worthless? Do you feel guilty? Those are the things that we use to determine whether somebody may be on that scale of depression. And for a lot of people who are suicidal, what I will ask them is, do you really want to die, or do you wish you had a different life? And the vast
Wow.
majority of times, it's a different life. They
Wow.
don't really want to die. Some
Wow.
people do because of, maybe terminal illness or
Yeah. Yeah.
something that's going on also in the
Mm.
biological domain. But the
Mm.
vast majority of people, they want a different life.
Mm.
And so,
When you were saying there's a scale, like
yeah,
there's and 0 to 100, like you could fall anywhere in that. And I know in business, I get a lot of leaders coming to me because they feel stuck or they feel cluttered, clouded, and they're not thinking. And so they just need to unpack this feeling of feeling stuck. And a phrase that's really common in the workplace is just to help get the person thinking is there's 2 options. You're either moving up or moving out.
mm,
And if you're moving up, you're growing in influence, whether that is promotions or not. You're going to invest where you are in your career in that company, and you're going to continue to grow the best you can there. So, what are our options if you choose that path? Or you're moving out and you've hit the ceiling and you're ready for something else. You're ready for change. And that's scary. So, what are them options? Like, what would be attractive about that? So, part of mine is getting them out of the ditch, but in a different way,
yeah.
like in a more professional way of their careers and stuff.
So let's talk about that, your career. I mean, you and I had a chance to write a book that's,
Yeah.
helping folks with anger in the workplace.
Yes.
But tell me, how did you even get into this whole world of
Yeah.
being an executive coach?
See, that would go back to the lane.
Okay.
I knew it. I knew it. And I had to start somewhere. But I knew it, and it made sense because when I was 14, I used to picture myself as a CEO.
Hmm.
I pictured myself as a CEO for in the fashion industry. And I designed my office. I knew what car I was going to drive. And I couldn't help it. Like I wanted to be in the fashion industry. And oddly, that I ended up at John Fluebach Shoes, which is footwear fashion, right? And so I became an executive at John Fluebach Shoes. But I had that vision at 14. And so I
So,
had a real love for business at 14. I just didn't know that's what it was. I didn't know that's what it was called.
so what did a 14-year-old vision of a CEO look like? Can you remember that? I mean, was it what
Oh,
you realized
really,
now?
really shallow. And
No,
I
no.
don't know. I don't think it was anything deeply. I think it was more,
Yeah,
it was quite prestigious. And I really liked the clothes and I loved the car. And it was fun designing my office. you know,
yeah.
like I had in the entryway, I had a wraparound staircase and the reception desk was between the, and then there was an elevator going up to my office. And I had I just
Wow.
designed this company and I remember wanting to go into, I thought it'd be fun to be part of like the men's GQ
Hmm.
fashion because my 2 friends were into fashion. She was a Vogue model, and then her sister was a designer. So I would read, the catwalks, I would write the catwalk
Hmm.
descriptions of the clothes and things like that. So we had this little thing, and then I'm on a tangent. Yeah.
But again, what was the influence at home for that? Were other people into fashion?
My friends were, so that really
so
drew
the
me into
social element.
fashion. Yeah, the Vogue and GQ magazines and Elle magazine. I was really, really loved it. And I grew up in Montreal. So Montreal has a fashion flair about it. So there was that culture. Like I remember you'd never wear sweats. If you're going to the grocery store, I mean, everything is, you don't go, you always look your best. I remember that even as 12, 13, that was not from my family. That was from the culture I was in. And then, so I had a love for business. I just did. And then things change in life. And then all of a sudden it found me again. And like years went by. And then all of a sudden I had this guy training on leadership development. And I was blown away. I was blown away by how he trained. And I just, it woke up in me. And he was the one who said, you need to do what I'm doing. And then all of a sudden I want to go back. I want to do this for companies.
What was it about that person that was so inspirational?
It was the style of training was very coach training. So there was a lot of neuro-linguistic programming about resetting your mindset, reprogramming your mind. You are in charge of your life. You can change that, that. So I got a bit of introduction to how powerful the mind is. And I loved how it was all about the best that you can be. It was always about taking yourself to the next level. And I think I just naturally have that talent. I'm a coach leader for sure, 100%.
Inspirational, like helping people.
Yeah, and even when I led teams, it was always coach leadership. Always. So
could you perhaps give our audience sort of an idea of what coach leadership is compared to something else, like authoritarian leadership?
Okay. Coach. So you give direction.
Okay.
So there's a few ways of doing it. Like right now, most leaders are trained to be coach leaders. So if you think of the only way I can do is I think of sports and you have a team and your job as the coach is to make that player go where that player can't take himself or herself. Like you're going to go where you're going to help that player take where they can't take themselves. That's the same in business, but that's not what happens. So if I have an underperforming employee, I'm going to do what I can to help that employee get to where they're supposed to go. And that's not the case. Usually performance goes down, you get addressed and you have to deal with it. And there's corrective action and they'll give you resources, but I'm probably more actively involved with the employee to make sure they succeed.
Because this productivity is a huge part of all companies, right? And somehow it almost feels like we're putting people down, saying you are not doing your job, and that's not really a great motivator to want to do more.
No.
So how do you?
See, I mean, we could go so many angles.
We are. That's okay.
Okay.
We've got plenty of time.
I like strongly uphold that you have to have a base of trust.
Yes.
You can't change wrong. Like, I don't know if companies realize the seriousness of how important it is for the employees to feel they can trust the organization. That's not trained. So if employees don't feel like they can trust the system, they're going to be more. They're just going to be more reluctant or more apprehensive. It's just going to cause walking on eggshells.
That's your fight, flight, freeze response we were talking before, right? If you can't trust your environment, you're always going to be on high alert. Yeah. And from a neuroscience point of view, you're going to have a cortisol response, stress response, which is going to impede your creative process.
Yeah.
Which is why, that's what the IM is saying. Respect. It's all about respect. Respect leads to value. And value leads to trust. And with that trust, you can unleash that unlimited human potential. So is that what coaching is? It's saying, I believe in you, I respect you, I value you, even when you don't respect and value yourself. Is that fair?
Yes. And I have the hard conversations because I'm a true coach. So feedback I like to play golf. So when I go
Okay.
to my golf coach and I say, I'm slicing the ball, let's say, she's going to look at my swing and tweak it because she wants me for the ball to go straight down the middle of the fairway. And so she's there to make sure, and that's hard. That's a hard, because she has to tell me what I'm doing wrong, but not just to tell me what I'm doing wrong is so I win. And that's that art of, and so people start trusting you because, oh, wow, you'll really tell me the truth. So if you're doing well, I'll tell you. And if you're not doing well, I'll tell you in a way that's respectful. But I am concerned of why trust isn't the number one core value in any organization. I don't, because if I did a training, I asked them, because it's a blanket word, like we just said about depression. And I said, do you trust your team? No. Like they all said, no, I don't. And I went, okay. So then I unpacked it to see how much they didn't trust. Where didn't they trust? We went specific. And then it turned out it was really broken trust, serious. I was really, so then I went to a hospital, did the same training, and it was with the administration. It was with the medical, the chief staff, and it was with the board of directors. So they were all there. And I put a timeline on the wall, and I said, remember everything that happened in that year. Just go with your sticky notes and then we got to this 2017, and it was piles and piles of sticky notes. I went, visually, where did it break down? They went, 2017. So the trust in 2020, no, it would have been longer, 2023. The trust broke in 2023 happened in 2017. And you could see them all going, like, wait a second. I said, this is not where trust broke down. That is where trust broke down. But you're blaming each other now. So we went back to 2017 to see where trust was broken. And we had to rebuild the trust.
And it is all about trust. It really is. Respect leads to value, value leads to trust. And one of the things that I appreciate so much is that my sponsors trust me to be able to take a break right on time so we can hear from them. So we're going to do that. Trust me. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Trust me. Right back with Karen Thrall and the Dr. Joe Show. We'll be right back. And we are back with the Dr. Joe Show. Just me, Dr. Joe here. But we have an incredible guest, Karen Thrall, who's telling us about how you were able to help an entire company recognize that trust was not just broken then, but there was sort of something must have happened years before. And then there's this cascade. There's if it's not addressed, if you can't address mistrust, what do people think happens to mistrust? It's not going to go away.
No.
How do you
and you can apply that in every relationship in your life. Like if you all of a sudden have a whisper in you going, I don't trust them. When did it start? Like you go back to when it started, because it's just that repeat. And you have to go back and address it. And business is exactly the same.
And you have to have that respect and value to even address that trust, right? To say,
yes.
To say, it's look, guys, I don't know what's going on, but we just can't trust each other right now.
Yes.
So let's figure out what happened and why. How do you create that so that, you create an environment where people can trust?
Yes.
Talk about not trusting.
And I would love to hear you as well, because you're going to have a whole different lens on it. I have an assessment that people fill out. And so they fill out the assessment and they rate the statements from 1 to 10. So what they rate from 1 to 10, then, and if you rate a statement 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, that means there's some fragmented trust. If you rate it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we're good. We're good. Like I have it, the score is low is a good thing. Score is high is a bad thing. So I have these questions And
Can
that
you give me an
just,
example of what one of those
well, the
questions may
classics
be?
would be like, do you trust that they'll be honest with you?
Sure.
So then they go, I go, yeah, I trust Dr. Joe will be honest with me. So 6. Okay, then we're 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever. Yeah. Then why waste time? That's not where we need to address because we're good. But if you rated me 2, then we have a problem. So I might rate you 8 and you might rate me 2. That I take note of that. So I have to create training on how do you have transparent, what does honest even mean, right? Like how do we find agreed language just on the word honest?
Right.
Because especially in companies, they can say they're transparent, but up to a point. Companies, executive teams cannot be transparent 100%. So up to a point. Well, then talk about it. Where might you have loss of transparency with your company, your team?
And that's part of the coaching.
Yeah. I don't want anybody to lose trust. My desire is always to restore trust. It just takes time. Like I have relationships in my past that the trust is broken, but it would take time to restore that. And neither parties are interested in the time it would take to restore trust. So you just move on, right? You just go, okay, this is a broken, trusted relationship. I wish you well. You wish me well. If I see you on the street, I'll go, hello, how are you? There's not much you can do. You need the time to restore trust.
Right. And I mean, it's semantic, I suppose, but do we really lose trust or do we stop trusting?
Yeah,
Because,
that's well said.
Because I want to trust. I don't want to lose this at all, but I can't. Somebody has done something to jeopardize my trust. I didn't lose it.
No.
You took it away from me.
Yeah. Okay, and here I want to say this thing because this is a big one in the training. I wait till the end, and you'll know this. Forgiveness and trust are not the same thing.
Yeah.
Do you need to forgive? Yes, because it's an erosion of your own inner physiological. Forgiveness is for your sake because it'll keep you whole and healthy, and it's the understanding that we're all flawed, and I can forgive you for that. Trust is not forgiveness. You can forgive somebody wholeheartedly and still not trust them, and that's okay. They're not tied. They're not joined at the hip. It's not one and the same. That brings a lot of relief to a lot of people. And I feel like they can get over things faster because they go, oh, yeah, okay, hang on then. Yeah, I can totally forgive them, but I don't trust them anymore. That's okay. That's okay. But forgiveness is more important at this point for your whole health and wholeness. And then that's okay. You don't have to trust them. I don't trust strangers. But I don't, like not trusting somebody is not a bad thing.
And again, it's part of who we are. I mean, it is part of that flight branch of our limbic response. You have to be aware of what's going on around you, or you may not survive. You may be eaten by a saber-toothed tiger.
Yeah.
But we generate trust. Again, and that's what respect and value is about. When you feel valued by someone, you're going to trust them because you know that, well, they may not necessarily have your best interest at heart, but you know that they're not going to do something to jeopardize you and to hurt you.
Like when I've told this story so many times, so I probably have told it on another episode where I was on your show. When John Fluvog hired me, he said, protect the brand. I need you to do something I need you to protect the brand. And I said, John, I will protect the brand. I will always make you look good. And I meant as an ambassador, I'll always represent you well. And I said, please don't trust me. And he went, he just hired me. And I said, please don't trust me. And I said, I want to earn that trust.
Yeah.
I want to earn it. And I take the pressure off because I find in the workplace, we're so quick to trust. Like what happens is you put out a job description, a job posting. People send in their resumes and they apply for the job. And then they go through HR and the hiring manager and they go, oh, you're the perfect person, the perfect candidate. We're going to go with you. And here's your contract. You meet all the credentials, all the talent. Off you go. No, they have to earn your trust now. The next step is now you're going to earn my trust. What an honor that they get to learn how to grow their trust with you. And I tell you, they will last longer because it was a journey of trust. Because what's in it for them? That means you're going to be patient. That means you're going to train them. You're going to have understanding when they drop the ball. You're going to teach, include them, give them resources. So it's a win-win when an employee knows they're going to have to earn that trust.
And is that part of the coaching then? Is that how you teach your executives how to do that?
Yes, I mean it's step by step. So it is when I'm one-on-one coaching, I want to find out where they don't trust that person, and we have to work privately, just me and the person, on how to what do they need to do with that information. If they don't trust somebody, what are their options, and how can they still thrive in the company if they're not trusting somebody? Or we do mediation and we see if we can come up with a trust plan to restore trust that they both agree upon. Like it's a mutual, yeah, we need to restore that. Or
how do people begin to trust you though with this? I mean, granted, you got this incredible track record, but just for our own, how would people find Karen Thrall to help them with their business?
just add a .com. Just add .com.
Okay, good. Because I think, we have listeners who are executives who are listening to this, who I think are applying the I am approach and realizing how respect is a way to activate the most remarkable creative process in the people who work with them, not just for them, but with them. So I hope that they're listening to this, because this is powerful coaching. Have you had any people who just walked away from it and said,
many
wrong? There's no way I can do that.
Yeah.
Can't.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
That is okay. Then my job is to coach them out.
Yeah.
So they either move up or move out. And so my job then is to go, and I do a little trick. Like if I say to them, if I said you're in this position, in this story right now, nothing's changed 5 years from now, what does that do to you? And normally they go, ugh, never. And I'm like, okay, how about 3 years? And 3 years, and I go like 2029. No. How about 2027?
Yeah.
And I'm just seeing how much bandwidth do they have left. So usually it's a 9 months to a year and a half. It's classic textbook. Like it's usually 9 months to a year and a half. And then I want to accelerate that. I don't want them to live in resentment or grudges and then I tell them, what I need from you today then is the amazing person that you'll be 10 years from now, when this won't matter to you. When time is healed and you're like, oh, I don't know why I was so upset about that. It's such no big deal. I need that person to show up here now. And then I work with that person to get them to forgive, to get them to rethink, to get them to figure out how do I finish well? How do I let go? How do I realize we're all doing the best we can? And it's just not a good fit for me, just to start altering their mindset a bit.
Well, why do you think it's that sort of textbook time frame? Is there something about who we are as human beings that
it's like, I'm telling you, a year, I tell people in a year and a half, you'll either, and it's crazy. Like
that's really interesting.
Year and a half. And I think it's because when they get to me, the work has already been done. It's just in their subconscious. They don't, or unconscious, they're unconsciously aware or subconscious, whichever one. And they've already done, I'm the icing on the cake. Like I'm the permission person.
Yes.
Like I'm the person who goes, sounds like you'd like to see what else is available to you. But my job is don't leave bitter. Like don't burn bridges. Don't do that. Finish well, because one day this won't matter.
Right.
It doesn't matter. So that would be what the role I have to play.
It's so interesting to hear this from my perspective as a psychiatrist, knowing the difference between that limbic immediate response, like everything's here and now and nothing will ever change, and then shifting our brain to be able to anticipate the future. But what do we need to do to make that happen.
Yes.
To create those changes. So it's really moving
Yes.
someone from that survival response. If something doesn't happen now, it'll never happen, which is what, honestly, what young kids, that's the way their brains are. And we revert back to that very quickly. It's never going to change.
I had somebody, do you have time or do you need to do a commercial break? I recently had somebody.
Boy, look at you using your prefrontal cortex to anticipate the commercial break. And you know what? We just got there. You're absolutely right. Karen Thrall's prefrontal cortex is absolutely in play, in sync, and we are going to listen to the future of our sponsors so we understand that, so they don't go limbic on me. We'll be right back with the Dr. Joe Show and Karen Thrall, the intuitive business coach. And we are back with the Dr. Joe Show in the final quarter here with Karen Thrall. And we were talking about prefrontal cortical anticipation. We anticipated our commercial break. It was wonderful. But we are back now. So, Karen, what were you going to say before I cut you off?
It's just when the permission that something new is coming, I think a lot of times people start feeling unhappy in their work because they're forcing themselves to stay because it's the right thing to do. So when they get to me, they're not sure. I have countless stories about this. This is a big theme in executive coaching. And then to start thinking with somebody, what is next? It almost seems too good to be true. And there's something that happens to them where they forget that this is a chapter of their entire storybook. Like there's more to come. So they get excited. Once I get them excited, okay, and I wanted to say earlier about the detour and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Another thing I coach is relief and loss. So when a person is talking to me and they sigh and they go, and I can feel the loss of themselves, the loss of thinking, the loss of purpose, whatever it is, there's a sigh. When I'm done, they go, I go, do you feel relieved? They go, yeah. There we go. Now it's, if I can shift their sigh of loss to a sigh of relief, we're on, because now they're thinking differently, and that clutter, the cloud is lifted, and they get excited, and then I give them exercises to do, and there's all this stuff they have to do before they meet with me again, but now we're going to build, because I am a builder, and so I want to build. Let's build who you are becoming right now. And then when they know in 18 months, because we're going right back, they're on the highway. There'll be a few detours, but you're on the highway now. And there's something of hope and possibility that happens. So it's like what you said, do you want to end life, or do you want to have a new life, a different life, right? It's very similar. The parallels are incredible.
Yeah.
So, and I was going to tell you, I actually spoke to somebody. We had a Zoom. They read the book. And
they read which book?
Oh, well. If don't lose your at work.
At work, stay calm, be heard.
Don't lose it. And he was telling me that while he was reading it, how many times he left companies, but he left quietly. And he was reading the book going, I was angry, but quiet angry. I've had several people who have more of a quiet version of anger saying, finally a book for me.
Wow.
Because so you and I talk about laters, and laters have a quiet anger. It's inside. It's churning. What do they do with it? Yeah. And so he said he's been going back into his career going, I was angry. He didn't know he was. To his mind, he was like, hey, let's shake hands. I'm going to go my way, and la-di-da. But it ate at him. Like, it actually affected him, but he just didn't know he was angry. So this change that happens in our lives, we resist it sometimes. And then sometimes that creates anger in us, but we got to get out of our own way so that we can welcome the change.
Yeah. With that in mind, let's skip to the two truths of the I am.
Yes.
So people remember the I am approach is saying that everyone's doing the best they can. This is your current maximum potential. This is who I am.
Yeah.
But we are responding and influenced by 4 domains: the home domain, social domain, which is everything else other than the home. Those 2 domains are outside, and the 2 internal domains, the biological domain of your brain and body. Are you hungry, tired, digesting lunch, angry? And then the I see domain. How do I see myself? How do I think other people see me?
Mm-hmm.
Because these 4 domains interact, a small change in any one of them can have a big effect. We don't need to change everything. You don't need to get stressed out thinking you need to change everything. A small change can have a big effect. So, Karen Thrall, executive coach, just strategist, what small change can you recommend to our listeners based on what we're talking about tonight?
For myself or for the listener?
Yeah, you know,
Okay.
I'm a psychiatrist.
I really want, I would love, anybody can email me if they feel the same way I do. I will answer. I promise you, I will answer the email. This tortoise and the hare. What if there was more of us that went back to the tortoise mindset of I'm on the highway and I will win. I am going to win, and I'm going to do this as a tortoise instead of the hare, right? That would be an amazing. Talk about what an influence that would be if we all collectively just slow down just a bit, so that we could look around us and smell the smells and appreciate the people around us. So that would be the I am.
Yeah. So that's something that you've taught us. Sorry, I couldn't.
Oh, brother.
Sorry, really.
Tortoise.
Yeah.
Sheesh. Of course. You had to get one
I
bad
had to
joke
get
in
one,
there.
and I had to get one in.
Yeah.
But how would that really, how do we do that? How do we slow down, smell the roses, and appreciate things when there's such pressure on us to go fast? Because, and you know why? Because we worry that hare will beat us to that finish line
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
we slow down too much.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in the middle right now of the Olympics, where it's all about,
Yes.
being as fast as possible, but not always. Sometimes you have to be graceful and beautiful. So
Yeah.
how do you suggest
So
people
funny
make
you should bring up the Olympics, because that, when I talk to the leaders I work with, that's the stuff we talk about, because they feel that too.
Yeah,
They're running a company.
right.
They're driving sales revenue. They got to be number one.
I mean,
So
think about the word running a company.
yeah.
We're not
Yes.
like
Yes.
pacing and
Oh.
crawling a company. We're running a
Whoa.
company.
Yes. I
Yeah.
think it's confidence. I do. I think it's
Okay.
confidence that the
Okay.
road is the right road, and find comfort in that. Find reassurance. Don't doubt.
Yeah.
I believe, my opinion, I believe the opposite of confidence is doubt, actually.
Yeah.
I
Agreed.
think so. When you
You're
doubt, you
sure of
lose your
that. You're sure of
confidence.
that.
When
Right?
you doubt, you lose your confidence. When you
Yeah.
doubt, you won't have confidence. So to me, once you pick the lane,
Mm.
stay true to it, because it's going to have ups and downs. It's going to have glitches. It's going to have hurdles. It's going to have all that, but you're still on the road. You're still going.
Yeah. Yeah. So slow down, folks, right?
Yeah.
You don't need to grind yourself into nothing,
No.
because if you keep grinding, what happens when things that get ground up sometimes lose their edge.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
slow down. Great advice. Second truth of the I am. Everyone's got one. Everyone is interested through their I see domain, what you think about them, which has an effect on their biological domain, because it feels different when you feel respected or disrespected. And you are part of someone's home or social domain. So the second truth of the I am, you control no one, but you influence everyone. And you get to choose the kind of influence you want to be. So Karen, what kind of influence do you want to be?
I want to, I want to, when I'm with people, I want to accept what I'm seeing right in front of me, um, without being suspicious.
Yeah.
I think sometimes I get suspicious, and I like, what's the angle? What's the agenda? I like to do less of that and just let the person be who they are, say what they are. And I would love to not do that. And I think that's just and of course it's limbic, but
Yeah.
I'd like to give people the benefit of the doubt more.
Okay. So, I mean, I'm just curious, where do you think that came from? That
I think
laughter?
I think it's trained. I think I'm programmed a
Yeah.
little bit.
And you're not alone, Karen. Believe me,
Yeah.
the vast majority of people have that initial response where they're
Like
not.
I have memories years ago of being suspicious. Okay, and here's the other thing. I'm going to just be full. I know we got to go. So full
No, no, no.
disclosure, I'm going to like throw myself under
We
the
got a few
bus
minutes.
here.
We got 4
There's
minutes.
this listening thing where there's 8 forms of listening, and one of them is as a miser. And listening as a miser means that I am listening to gain information to use against you. Okay, so I'm listening to gather information that I will use against you. See, oh my gosh, it is not politics. It's like there's a lot, right? Like that would be a culture that likes to do that, right? When they're on campaigning, all of a sudden they have all this information back and forth. But I remember a moment where I did that. It was because I was learning it, and I pulled away from the conversation and watched myself doing it to this other person. I was just mortified. And to me, that was suspicious. Why do I have to gather information to use it against you? That's suspicion. What does it benefit me? Why do I feel like I need to protect myself and I better gather? And in the workplace, it's quite common to do that. So I'd like to do less of that.
And can you create a culture then where there is less of that in that workplace?
Well, your book, How Smile and Anger Taught Me, the more you smile, the more you diffuse suspicion.
It's true.
And do you know I teach that now?
Really?
When you're in remote meetings, smile at every single person, call them by name. Because you're apart, you're remote. Diffuse the suspicion. Just smile and call everyone by name. Let them know you're so happy to see them, so they can, Anyways, I know we got to go. We're at the end of time.
We still got a couple of minutes.
Okay,
we're fine.
Okay.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. So you want to be able to trust people more. How does that, you think, relate to the growing respect that you may have for yourself now that you're a published author, that you've helped all these people? You have helped people that you'll never know how many people you've helped by coaching that executive to create that culture. Do you think there's part of that, just realizing that you're doing something pretty great and that makes it easier to trust other people?
Well, okay, I'm a forever student, right? So I'm always going to have a harsher, more critical lens on where I want to go. Like I'm going to have a realistic lens or whatever from myself. I like incremental growth, and I do have that tendency that as long as we're progressing forward, I'm good. Like it could be 0.5%, 2%, 50%, as long as there is motion. So for me, for suspicion, trust, I saying it to you in this moment where I'm hearing myself say it for the first time. I'm going, okay, I've just set this in motion. So now I look forward to seeing what will the changes be now that I've stated it. So I think incremental growth, like I'll have a win. Like if I talk to someone, oh, hey, I wasn't suspicious. Ooh, a win. I think if I can just be aware of the times I'm not suspicious. So I can understand what it looks like and feels like when I'm not suspicious towards somebody.
I tell you, it's a great feeling and I hope more people can do that, Karen, because we live in a world right now where we're on high alert all the time, so suspicious of each other. But folks, remember, whenever you remind someone of their value, you increase your own value. So let's start doing that. And I think, Karen, that's part of what you're teaching by being this executive coach and teaching that strategy. It's okay to slow down, look around, and be kind, especially to those people who are working with you, not just for you, and relying on you. So I just want to thank you for being here tonight. And folks, check out the book, Don't Lose Your Shh at Work. Karen Thrall, and yes, Dr. Joe Schran.
Co-author buddies.
All right. Folks, we'll see you next week on the Dr. Joe Show. Thanks for being here. Karen, thanks so much.
Bye.
to show